Hello, welcome back to Rails Quest. I've got a great little video for you today. We're going to explain how to use a tool that's probably available to you right now and you don't even know about it. If you're using Rails, I can pretty much guarantee that this tool is available to you and it will come in handy in a very specific scenario. So let's dig into it. First, I'm going to set the stage. Why am I talking about this right now? Well, it just came up for me in my workflow. I was working on integrating this new Hotwire Spark gem into my Rails application. It's an official gem that comes from 37 Signals, which is the company behind Rails. And what it does is it allows you to live update your page as you're editing your application. So you change something, some text maybe in your view, in your HTML file, and it automatically reloads in the browser. This can be a super great productivity boost, this kind of tool for you if you are doing a lot of UI work. I'd like to talk about the Hotwire Spark gem in a future video, so look out for that. But I ran into a wrinkle because I use a specific way of launching my Rails applications that has a few extra features, and I've already got a video in the works for that. It's probably already posted right now as you're watching this, and it's called the Puma Dev tool. And what that does is it allows you to get all these extra features like SSL on your local machine, so you can see how your application works in an SSL environment on your local machine. It gives you domain name for your app, so you don't have to go to localhost 3000 or come up with your own port number if you're working with multiple Rails apps. It's great for that situation. But it did not work with the Hotwire Spark gem. So here's the question that we're going to try to answer today. What do you do if your gem that you're using is not working? All right, so this will be a short and sweet, super simple thing that you can do, and one of the awesome things about Ruby. So let's dig into it. Here I am in the Rails app where I was trying to use the Hotwire Spark gem. Here's the line in my gem file. What was happening was I added it to my application, and the way that it's advertised in the documentation, you just add it to your application as a gem dependency and you automatically get auto loading in your app. And I was expecting that magic. It didn't happen. Well, I had a hunch it might have to do with my special setup. So I ran things with Rails server. You can shorten it to Rails S, or you can type it all the way out. And when I ran it this way and went to localhost 3000, it worked. So that immediately led me to think, it is not running because of something in my Puma dev configuration. The way I'm starting Rails, instead of starting it with Rails, I'm starting it directly with Puma, which is the server that Rails uses by default these days. So what do you do in that situation? You use bundle open, or at least I do sometimes. Sometimes I'll reach for this tool, sometimes I'll look at the source code on GitHub. It just depends on the situation, but this is a really convenient way to open up a gem and see what's going on. So what it will do is it will open your default editor in the directory of the gem where it's installed. So let's look at what my editor is. It's Vim. Yours may be something different. If you want to use a specific editor, this is just a general tip for lots of things. You can use this for Git. You can use it for just about anything else. If you wanted to put VS Code in here, whatever. So now I'm running it in NeoVim. That tip was for free, just a little bonus for today. So I'm going to go straight to the file. I've already done this investigation, so I already know where the problem was. What we were doing, which was preventing the Hotwire stuff from working magically, is it was checking for the Rails server to be defined, the Rails server class. Well, that is only defined, come to find out, did a little bit of spelunking into Rails. I didn't know this, but that is only defined when you run it with Rails server, or it appears to only be that way from my empirical testing. So I added as an experiment, here's the magic of bundle open. You can write any code that you want in here. You can edit the gem on the fly and test out the changes. And that can give you a high degree of confidence if you're going to contribute this back to the original gem, which I'm considering. I'm looking for a better option than this, but this is the best thing that has come up so far for finding out if you're running in a server environment. But all that aside, this investigation is still ongoing. You can use this for any gem that you have installed. And you'll make a change to the gem, and then you'll go out of here and you'll probably restart your Rails server to make sure it picks up on those changes. It's not going to auto load. That's something you've got to remember. As a Rails developer, it's easy to forget that the auto loading stuff, when you're changing code in your Rails application and suddenly on the next request it's reflecting those changes in the live application, that's Rails magic. There's nothing special about Ruby that does that. You'll need to restart your Rails server because that Rails magic does not work for gems that you've already loaded. It assumes that they're static. So then you come up with whatever changes you need, do some experiments, maybe add some logging. You can debug it however you'd like. And when you're done, you can do this. Gem pristine, Hotwire Spark. So that's going to restore it. Look, it found all the versions that I have installed. Let's go ahead and open it up again. And you'll see that it's back to the old way of doing things. So, make sure that you save anything that you wanted to save before you run pristine, because that's it. It's not in your Git history. It's not anywhere else. It's probably gone forever unless your editor kind of has your back there and saves it somewhere for you. So that's pretty much it. It's a really simple tool. The only reason for the length of this video today is to explain the context and why would you actually need this tool, and to just kind of give you a peek behind how I was using it. And this will probably show up as a pull request against Hotwire Spark whenever I get the time to come back to it, because I'd really love to use that library and I'd love to get it working to the point where I can make a video and demonstrate and show it off to everyone, because I think it's going to be a great addition to my default set of Rails tools. And that's all I've got for you today. Please remember to like and subscribe. That helps me a ton. I've got 1,000 subscribers now and I can't hardly believe it. And I thank everyone who has subscribed so far, and I hope you continue to join me on the journey, because we're gonna keep making awesome content in the year 2025. Anyway, with all that said, have a blessed week and I'll see you next time.